We are quite pleased with the outcome of this summit because last year in November, when the summit convened in Washington, we were still confronted by the financial crisis. And since then, within the last 4 or 5 months, the stimulus packages that have been implemented by various countries and the response to this crisis has now stabilized the free fall that was experienced in the financial services sector. And now we are in a position where we have as the central pillar of the recovery plan the saving of jobs, because there's a recognition that this summit could not only focus on technical aspects of the economy, but that the economic meltdown affects people, affects ordinary working people, and that therefore the thrust of this unprecedented recovery plan is to stabilize the financial institutions, clean out toxic assets, with this primary aim of ensuring that people's jobs are saved. And to that end, there's recognition as well that the developing countries, the emerging markets, offer an opportunity for growth, even in the midst of this current economic meltdown, and therefore there's a commitment to ensure that the developing countries receive investment finances, particularly in the infrastructure, and also that the Glen Eagles commitments will be met. Over and above that, the leaders who gathered here have committed that the Doha development round negotiations will be concluded. They take responsibility for that, and that in each of the next meetings, ranging from the meetings of the G8 to the G20, they will be, this matter would be a standing item to ensure that it is progressed sufficiently. Because if the negotiations are concluded, that would also, in a way, act as a stimulus package for many, many developing countries. So we are quite happy with the overall approach and thrust of the discussions at this summit. As Africa, we are also happy that for the first time NEPAD was invited, and the African Union Commission was also invited to participate at this summit. And that the IMF will, over a period of 2 to 3 years, inject $6 billion into Africa through the African Development Bank. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Let's take questions. Start here. Yeah. Please identify yourself. Yeah.
Karina Kamel from CNBC Africa Television. Mr. President, I'd like to ask you about the money that's been allocated towards trade finance, specifically the $250 billion announced today, of which I understand also include the World Bank Fund. Can you tell us a little bit about how you expect that money to be deployed and used in South Africa?
Well, the next step would be for Africa to agree that the most needy of the sister countries on the continent do access that money, and that those countries that have healthy balance sheets and are able to raise money differently should, and give the space to the most needy. And the approach is to invest in infrastructure development.
Yeah. Okay, next one, yeah. Is there a problem with the mic? Yep.
Ayubumze Benton.
It's fine. Yeah, I can hear it. You may be able to.
Just speak from the mic, yeah.
Yeah, the issue I want to put forward is the issue of NEPAD and the peer review mechanism, even though NEPAD contingent have been here to put their case. What I wanted to know from you, it is common knowledge that NEPAD is the economic recovery blueprint for Africa. Now, what mechanism have you got as Africans under NEPAD and the peer review mechanism to see that you've got that you are going to tackle this problem yourselves in Africa as Africans?
Well, I hope when you say yourselves as Africa, you're not suggesting that this crisis can be solved by any one part of the world to the exclusion of others or in isolation. The purpose of this summit is to ensure better coordination in responses, because the folly of one or other parts of the world, the United States can't solve this crisis on its own. Neither can China nor Africa. And that is why we need coordination. Secondly, the African peer review mechanism is an instrument that NEPAD employs in order to ensure that we stabilize the political situation on the African continent, because stability, political stability, is a precondition for development. If there is conflict or war, energies and time and resources are diverted away from developmental issues. And that is why it's so important for NEPAD to employ that peer review mechanism.